Easy,
Don't
how
you
are we?
don't you after 5 years, don't you fucking easy-e me, you fucking
Anything but easy. How are we?
Yeah, yeah. How are you?
I,
You good?
I,
You have a big
I
smile on your
thought we'd
face?
wait till as late as possible to record this week's intro. And I hope you'd calm down a bit. But the look in your eyes right now, people can't see it. You haven't calmed down at all. How
No,
are things?
I've had time. I found out I was a reject as I was sitting in Johannesburg Airport and I had 2 hours to kill. I started drinking, Sean. They had this fake Baileys, Armarilla, South African fake Baileys trying to be Baileys. I had about 5 of them. And then I was getting angrier. And then I was put onto a metal tube called an airplane for 8 hours, no internet. And all I had to do was think about it. I got wound up.
Oh man, when I got in the next day, I was afraid to even gloat or anything about it. I was like, what do I do? And then I just said, I'll message you a screenshot. I couldn't even find words to screenshot it because as soon as I told you I haven't heard back, you're like, you fucker, you're getting in. That's a guarantee you're getting in. And then when I got in, I was like, he was right to send a screenshot. And then you're like, you fucker. All I
Yeah,
can do
there's
is just
not
put
enough.
that up and the amount of people, by the way, that responded to me went, Eric's right. Fucker.
Yeah, I look. If you had recorded this 5 days ago, there's not enough beeps you could put in. Like someone told us, oh, they're talking about this on live because obviously they're talking about it on the radio. I was like, I can't ring in. The
Hmm.
time delay isn't enough for what I want to say right now, and it's I'm lucky there has been a week. I'm a little bit calmer about it, but I'm not happy. I am not happy for many reasons.
47,000 people applied, and they narrowed it down to 17,500 people, which is I'm kind of concerned for those that got good of age how that's going to work. And that came in that's not getting done to like
And
May
I
and
think
stuff and
and I
essentially
think
that.
50% of that 17,000 are first timers.
Yeah, it's
So
50%. I think it's 50% female, 50% first timers as well. Because last year, I think 12,500 finishers were male, and then 5,500 were female, bringing to 18,000, which means that out of 22,500, 4,500 people didn't turn up, which is how we end up in this situation. They need to do something differently. But how they handle it, and not even put a post up on Tuesday, Wednesday, and that lack of communication, especially seeing all the no's on Tuesday, you're like, I think all the yes are coming next day, but what if they're all gone elsewhere in charity places and there's not much spaces for a regular Joe Soap like me trying to get into it?
like I think all the publications they've done now have been very reactive. I don't think they actually anticipated how pissed off every loyal kind of runner would be. I'm just happy you got it because you're going for your 10th year in a row. This will be your 10th Dublin Marathon. I know 2 of them were virtual, but you still paid your money. You still went out on the
There's
bank holiday and you still did your marathon. So
Yeah,
this is your 10th year. If they had taken something like that off you, I'd even be more annoyed. And I hope more people like that who have done a string of them are, because they're giving out perpetual awards and at the same time going, hey, hey.
mm,
I think the bit, and I'm talking quite calmly about this before I go back into the jokey side of what I was at during the week. But I think when you first of all charge me a fiver, okay, I get what they were trying to do. They're trying to put in a deterrent. There's administration fees because you're probably paying for software. But when you look at the numbers who are rejected, there's no way your administrative software is costing 150,000 euros. So that's 150,000 euros made before people get to a start line who aren't taking part. They're not coming. That's in the
couldn't.
bank. Um, so allow me to finish. But
Yeah,
you asked me in the questions, how many have you done, which gave me the false sense of security that it's okay. I'm a regular. I've done 3. I've done whatever. There's others that probably done 5. I don't know what the criteria was, and that is a problem. You gave me the sense of hope that having done a couple of marathons, having been loyal to the system, I'm paying my fiver. It wasn't like it was a risk. It wasn't like I was going into what horse race is running. There's 30 horses. I'm just going to go with the nicest name and stick a fiver on it. I'd actually feel like I got more value out of that than I did out of putting my €5 into the Dublin Marathon. So for me, that felt a little bit, even though it's only €5. I get it. It's a coffee. You can put it, but I would have rather drank a coffee, because
got some.
all I got was an email. no clarification of how the system went. It was just thanks for your
Yeah.
fiver, and then fuck off. And that was it. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I will never, ever, ever, ever give €5 to a lottery system for the marathon again. Not a chance. If I don't get a ticket, so be it. I'm going to roll. I'm going to go to the black market like every other athlete. I'm going to hope someone gets injured. I'm hoping to get a transfer of fees. I'm hoping I have someone who gets a ticket and is willing to give it to me. You know, that's
Yeah.
where I am now, like the other people who have done it. Because when we look at the groups and the clubs and on the polls, and I know Fitness Goose had a great poll up about his run club, and you're looking at the numbers, and 25% got a ticket out of a lot of people who are marathoners. You know, Dublin is the schedule. No different to how our podcast. We cannot not talk about it because so many of the athletes, so many of the local runners, so many of the social runners, they add it to their calendar each year, and they are the ones to buy the ticket the next day. You know, there's so many elements. Like, why did 4,000 people not show up? Well, because you made them buy the ticket the week after the marathon. So they know they have to buy it to get re-entry. If you release the tickets in February or March, now you've got people who are like, well, actually, I'm pregnant. There's no way I'm going to do Dublin in October. Well, actually, I'm moving house. Well, actually, I'm changing job. This probably isn't going to suit me, this training block. Maybe that's an option. I think a lot of people felt a little bit hurt about, like, charity is one thing, but then you see the messages going out for the international, and there's a couple of thousand tickets for people coming into. I get it, I do get it, but you know, it's a national championships. You know,
Mm.
it's a race that's been around for over 40 years in the city that people have been able to access. It's only since maybe 2019 it started to get more difficult to access, and tickets were no longer really guaranteed, or you couldn't really pick up an entry. Um, I think when it came to the likes of international and charity, and you know, restriction on first timers, I think you should have pushed that into extra tickets. I don't think you should take away from what was. I think if you want to add more, and you know there's capacity and you know there's demand. Now, I don't know what the conversations are with Dublin City Council, but if you want to make more of a commercial
That's
gain on this, you added an extra. Like, we're going to Barcelona Marathon. 27,000 tickets have been sold. And there's commercial entities as well, and there's everything else, and there's still tickets available. So maybe the upper limit, and it will sell out. I think it's 30,000 is the limit. So if you know you had 16,000 runners and they're your diehards, and four didn't show up, maybe don't sell the tickets as part of this demand. Maybe go, yeah, it is a lottery, so you still get your €5 of tickets. Your regulars, like ourselves, don't feel too disheartened when we don't get in. But then you have an extra 6,000 tickets. So you put the 4,000 fall off you've been having year on year into extras, you know,
yeah.
and that's where you know, everyone is a little bit happier. And look, I know it's not an exact science, but come on, the data is there, and that's why I was really disappointed. So that's the serious side of probably the where people are at, and how I genuinely felt. The other side of me was during the week was, sorry, you were going to say something.
No, I was going to say, then would you have, because the fiver issue there, would you have, because the argument there with you is the majors don't charge a fiver. Would you have been happy spending an extra 10, €15 on the actual ticket itself? And then instead of 110, it was 125. And then they would have had the same amount of money, but only from those that actually paid. And then,
No, because I think then you're putting it out a price range for people to take part in a great race. I think with the amount of commercial sponsors, you know, you shouldn't really, like, Barcelona Marathon for the first 1,000 people is €65.
but yeah, but Barcelona Marathon, we were there. One, it seems easier to start, but two, it also seems that everyone's on board there with council and stuff like that. Like, you can get your train ticket and stuff, and that's all sorted. Whereas a couple of years ago, the conversation we had was, oh, they're getting rid of Dublin Marathon out of the city. They're trying to get out of the
Yeah.
city and lapse the park and all this other stuff that started coming out. I don't think there's but for some reason, we just always seem to shoot ourselves in the foot in Dublin with these kind of things.
Yeah, but yet we'll allow people to take commercial gain from gigs and rock stars and country stars that come over and make money. And the argument is always the revenue it brings to the city. And then these same
Mm.
people are like, oh, this is such an inconvenience to the city. When in
Yeah.
actual fact, having 30,000 people appear in your city to buy coffees, to buy everything, to, you know, like, you have to look at and most of these things are done through economical gain. How many hotels? So I can understand this element of bringing in tourism. It increases the viability for Dublin to say to councils, to say to politicians, well, hold on a minute, look
Yeah.
at the tourism we brought, look at the hotels. But you don't have to look at tourists for hotels. Look at people in Cork.
Oh,
Look at
that's what I
people in
mean. Yeah.
Galway.
Yeah.
They're booking out hotels to be in Dublin the night before. You know, like you don't have to look at people because they've got on a plane. Just people have driven 3 hours to be in Dublin that morning or the night before to book a hotel. You know, so when you're talking to these councils, you have to look at these figures. Maybe you need to do that survey when people are booking tickets. Are you staying in Dublin? Would you mind letting us know where you stayed? You know, maybe we can do deals for people who are doing. You know, there's so many ways to have commercial gain out of a race. I just think it's a little bit, but again, speculative. And the reason we're speculative is because you didn't give us the information. The reason I sat in a plane plotting ways to start my own fucking race on the day is,
And
and
the
I am.
significance.
I'm telling you, if I get enough interest, I'll do it. And do you know what I'm going to do? It's going to be the reject marathon. This is what I had, Sean. In the 8 hours on the plane, I was like, right, reject marathon. It's going to be miserable. It's going to be a greenway where every kilometer looks the exact fucking same, right? First, this is the detail I went into. I'm going to find 42 primary schools, right? I'm going to go in and I'm going to give them, you know, a picture of a turtle and, you know, and they're going to paint this big chart. They're going to paint all the words that you associate with a turtle. But really what they're going to be doing is slur words for runners. Really slow, slightly fat, eats all the time. And it's going to be kilometer 1. Reject across the top, and you're just going to have all these slurs, and you know they're written by kids. They didn't know it was to make fun of you, but it's going to be horrible. And then that's going to be every kilometer. The first water station is going to be local friends and families and couriers, and they're going to throw water balloons at you. That's it. That's the water station, just to be miserable. You'll get a T-shirt that says, I am a Dublin reject, but I'm still doing a marathon. Nobody's allowed clap. They're only allowed boo. That's it. When you run past, booing at you. That is it. The only good thing even the medal, Sean. I was thinking of designs for the medal, and it was gonna be, you know, the way everyone's like anyone but Dublin, and it was like I can run anywhere but Dublin, and it's gonna be a big medal about being a reject and stuff, and a little message on the back reminding you how crap you are. The only good thing I was going to do was at the end, I'll get a load of chipper vans. And the only rule is, no matter what they're selling, it has to be a fiver because that's what you could have bought. That's what you could have bought if you didn't register for Dublin. So if you want to run the most miserable marathon of your life on a bank holiday weekend in October, that was my plan. I came up with the whole concept. I'd find the club to back me. And yeah. Because now I know the numbers. Now I know there's 30,000 people. There's a big market there for that bank holiday weekend. Imagine all the hotels and the deals they'll do in Longford if I say, listen, I'll sell every room for all those people from Cork who would have went to Dublin. I'm telling you, we could have a great day.
Just looking at all the reviews of races. What was the worst part of that race? That's included. That's
included. Yeah. And you know what I'm going to do? See all these environmental friendly cups?
Plastic cups.
Bottles for everyone. Bottles for everyone. And if someone's running faster than you, you can throw it at them. It's a miserable marathon. Miserable. It's going to be horrific. I hope it rains that day. But even the T-shirts, like we'll do T-shirts that just describes how useless you are at getting a ticket for Dublin Marathon because you weren't fast enough. That's the reality. You were too slow. You weren't good enough. If you met the time, you were in. So I'm going to abuse you for 42k and you're going to know about it. Everyone's going to boo, throwing water balloons at you. Try and catch it in your mouth so you have some water. It's going to be great.
You just need to do a sub 3-hour marathon in Barcelona in 15 weeks' time, and then you can get the good for age or in for there. Yeah. That's all you have to do.
So anyway, it's either organise my own. I'm not going in to support you, by the way. If I don't get a ticket, I'm not going in. And if I do go in, I am bringing water balloons, and I'm going to find you in the crowd, and I'm going to ping you with them. But you know, if enough people gather my gather momentum for my miserable marathon, I reckon I could get people from all over the world to come and run the most miserable marathon. People do the beer mile, people do this. Imagine the most miserable marathon. Have you done a marathon? Yeah, but did you do the most miserable marathon? Did you do the worst of them?
It reminds me of that meme. Is it the Karen restaurant or something like that? And someone
That's
comes in,
it.
just gets
People
abused with
pay
waitresses,
money
that kind
to
of
have
thing.
their food thrown at them. I'll throw food at you for free.
The
It'll
Karen
be
Marathon.
it'll be great, and I'll charge you the same as Dublin and give you half the stuff, just so it's really miserable. And I'll keep the rest myself. I'll go on a nice holiday, and then I'll send to your email pictures of me on holiday with all the profit. It's kind of like misery.
Loaf of
Absolute
bread thrown at you.
miserable. Yeah, it's going to be miserable. Yeah, the food stations, it's like feeding ducks. You just get a little bit of water and dry bread, and you just have to, that's your nourishment. No gels
Oh.
here, just a bit of Brennan's. We might get Brennan's sponsor.
You know what, Eric? I'm glad this week's episode is not just a marathon runner. We've gone down triathlete for this week's episode, because otherwise you'll just be on this running buzz all the way
I
through.
couldn't let someone talk about the marathon this week, so we are going with triathlete.